Okay, good morning. Once by the Pacific, here I am. Not Robert Frost, Mark Stewart, Greenstein. By the Pacific because I am an old beach guy with a bit of a hippie streak, and I am on what's called the conservative side on an issue that is so important to everyone. And it's not played the right way, so let me, especially to those of you who bleed blue, I'm a Democrat, not a leftist, those of you who bleed blue, even left-leaning people, to realize why the challenge to what the legislature in California just passed and what Governor Newsom signed on September 5th is so important. Because almost every worker is jeopardized by their legislation. They shouldn't have even brought it up. Not this way. And what is this way? It is called sector-based labor laws. Not based on individual workplaces and with no regard to what unions of workers can do, because unions are getting replaced by government force. Now, could that work 1 or 2 years in maybe 1 or 2 states? Possibly. Can't work forever because it ends the whole Western way of life. When the government is forcing businesses on hours, wages, dispositions of where workers can work, when workers can work, not just total hours, and those who don't want to work to have, as this legislation does right now, a complaint for being discriminated against, with the presumption being against the employer. This is unsustainable. It could start in California unless Californians reject it in their first chance that'll come up this winter. It is what I'm trying to make sure is at least on the ballot, and hopefully will get turned down. Sector-based bargaining. It's not bargaining. It is replacing bargaining between employer and employee, even employer group and employee group. That's fine. That's American. When government, which has the force of law and ultimately of guns, pointed at employers and consumers to pay the prices that employers will then have to charge, that's Soviet. Okay, that is unsustainable. Legislatures can't keep doing this to business. They can't punish business with their imposed from Sacramento work rules. And even if it's a council, what in California's legislation is, it's a council selected by the governor with only 30% coming possibly from the industry employers themselves and 70% from workers or their agitators. And I'm most concerned about those agitators because they don't always have workers in mind. I'll get to that in another video. Go to the essence that this provision allows people who don't want to work to shake down employers. Work for 5 weeks. Quit. Allege discrimination when they don't place you in the right hours, the right tasks, the exact right wage for you, and get triple damages. Employers cannot put up with this. Now, maybe a few can. The largest ones may be able to. And yes, we might be able to pay another $1.50 more for our Big Macs, $1.25 more for our double cheeseburgers. That is possible. But not in every state, not in every franchise, not without some franchise just plain closing and workers getting displaced completely. I said that the legislature was unwise to even bring this up. And it's because, though this is a small segment, fast food workers at franchises that are large, 100 or more across the country, it starts what would be industry-wide. Sector-based would be for all retail workers, perhaps. And it'll cascade because if food service workers have these high benefits, high wage, shorter hours, easy to complain and get settlements. Don't you think every other work sector is now going to say, we need this too? At some point, Americans will say, we're not having any of it. And we're going to end up becoming a Latin American country with a truly displaced class of people that don't get any sympathies as we have now from almost all Americans. I'll get to the other portion next. Thanks for listening here.